We can do better than that on a day like today in Houston. Good morning.
Good morning.
Great. My name's Bill Peel, and I have the distinct privilege of being the chairman of the Pathways to Potential Capital campaign for SARE. And what a great opportunity it's been. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to tip our hand a little bit. We haven't even really publicly announced our campaign, which has a goal of around $17 million, and we've already raised $11 million. So some of that is going to, and that has nothing to do with the chairman. It has to do with a great board of directors and volunteers that serve on our campaign committee, some of which are here today, and I want to thank you so much for that. I would like to also welcome our elected officials, many of which you're going to hear from today. First, our City of Houston Mayor, Mayor Turner. Thank you for being here. Our Harris County Judge, Ed Emmett, is also here. I believe County Commissioner Jack Mormon. Great, Jack. Senator Sylvia Garcia. And representing Congressman Gene Green, Jorge Maldonado. SARE was founded in 1965. Good. SARE was founded in 1965 in the Gulf Coast area, and today is truly a big step forward in the pathway to potential. Big for the organization. But for just a second, I wanted you to join me in reflecting on the concept of another big step. I've often heard that our future is just one step outside our comfort zone. And can you imagine what it's like for the young people that take advantage of SARE and the programs it offers when they take that first dramatic step outside their comfort zone? It might be a single mom who's trying to establish a career path. It might be a veteran who's returning to the workforce. It might be a senior citizen who's coming back into the workforce. It might be someone who's spent some time in our correctional system who's decided they're going to turn their life around. And what they do when they take that step, they walk right into the building that's going to be behind you, and they immediately embark on their future, a new future. And the interesting and profound thing to me about that future is it doesn't take months or years to make that happen. It literally happens in a matter of weeks. And we know as a matter of fact that when these young people or the people that go through the program at SARE change their lives, they're changing the lives of their families as well. And we also know if we change the lives of families, we're changing communities. And as we change communities, we change this great city that we all call home. So this is a fabulous program. There's no better time for Houston to need skilled labor and to boost our labor force than we have today. I'd like to now welcome City Council Member Robert Gallegos to the podium. Councilmember Gallegos represents District 1. He's been a fan, a supporter of SARE for many, many years. He's a lifelong resident of District 1, spent over 30 years volunteering and working in the community, and he's going to introduce our mayor today. So thank you.
Good morning. Isn't this a great day? Yes. I'm honored to be here this morning to celebrate with SARE, Jobs for Progress, as it turns a page on a new chapter. SARE is and will continue to serve as a beacon for those in our community, seeking skills, training, and employment opportunities. I have been fortunate to work with Nori and her team to help many in our community reach their career goals. Nori is an exceptional leader, and I know how passionate she is about serving some of our most vulnerable neighbors by getting them trained and ready to re-enter the workforce. SARE's clients include young people, senior citizens, and ex-offenders. And thanks to the support of SARE staff and hands-on learning, many of our neighbors have found a way to reach their career goals. The new facility will continue to serve as a pathway for those who want to reach their full potential, thanks to a career cafe, computer lab, youth recreation courtyard, classrooms, space for educational workshops, and interview areas. Thank you to my colleagues on City Council for joining me in approving the $5.3 million CBG funding for this wonderful project. SARE Jobs is transforming lives, and we soon hope that the new facility will be a cornerstone to an educational corridor here in the East End. I hope that one day This will include the historic Rufus Cage building along the educational corridor. And it's truly an exciting day, and I couldn't be more delighted to be here this morning. I want to thank everyone for being here, and most especially our mayor, who has worked tirelessly during this hurricane. He's been in office for almost 2 years, and he works hard every day. But it was shown on TV and in the news that this man cares about our city and works very hard to make sure that we are all taken care of. So give a round of applause to our mayor, Sylvester Turner.
Let me say good morning to everyone, and I certainly want to acknowledge and thank Councilmember Robert Gallegos for his service to District H, quite frankly, for the entire city, and certainly appreciate him on City Council, and he is a tireless advocate for his district and loves this city, and certainly wants to see the development occur within this area. So I thank him for his service. And then today I'm with County Judge Ed Emmett. I tell you, we were together last night, and I think the day before, and the day before, and the day before. And last night, as we were walking out the door, we kind of joked with one another, you know, when we would see each other again. And I don't think either one of us had looked at our calendar. And here we are again, Judge. So it's good to be with Judge Ed Emmett, and I would tell you, I've enjoyed working with him. And not just over the last 3 years. As he is both, and I've indicated we've known each other for 30 years. And then Commissioner Mormon, it's good to be with you. And I know State Senator Sylvia Garcia. I don't see her this morning, but I know her heart and her spirit are right here. Let me just say good morning to all of you. One of the many results of the flood was the demand for more skilled workers in the construction trades as we build and recover towards an even brighter future in our city. And before the storm, Houston had already partnered with Sir Jobs for Progress through a $5.3 million community development grant to train workers, as Councilmember Robert Gallegos indicated, to move into the kind of skilled jobs that will make raising families and enjoying life in Houston much easier. And I love the statement up here, Sir Jobs for Progress, transforming lives one job at a time. But now, even though we had no crystal ball of knowing what Harvey would bring us, this investment is going to benefit the entire city. Homes will be repaired and homes will be rebuilt with labor developed by this fine organization. And Houston has always been a great place for opportunity for small businesses to be created and flourish, for individuals, initiatives to bear fruit, and Sir, over the last 52 years, has certainly done its part and its share, and will continue to do even more. Meeting the needs over 4,000 with Phase 1 and Phase 2, that number can go well over 8,000. What a gift to this entire city. So I'm so glad that the city was able to help Sir Jobs for Progress meet its initial fundraising goals, and to be at the 11.5 million mark without advertising at all. Shouldn't be any problem to reach that $17 million mark. And I am glad to stand here and see this new facility unfold while applauding the great work that everyone does. This is not just a building, nor I know you are committed, passionate, been in my office making a case. She could have been a lawyer, and I mean, she is strong. So this is not just a building, it's a place where dreams will be realized, where hard work will be rewarded, and where everyone in this city will truly benefit. And I'm just glad to be a part of it. Thank you for having me.
Well, good morning, everyone. Nori, thank you for the invitation to be here today. I appreciate all the great work that you and Sarah have done to help train our workforce over the years. The efforts of Sarah are more vital now than ever to help us recover, and I'm glad Harris County can be your partner in that endeavor. But now on to my friend and colleague, Harris County Judge Ed Emmett. The judge is a graduate of Rice University and received his master's in public affairs from the University of Texas. In the 80s, he was a state representative for 4 productive terms. In the 90s, he served his country as a commissioner on the Interstate Commerce Commission and then became our county judge after being appointed in 2007, now winning 3 county-wide elections. Judge Emmett is the director of the Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Management, hunker down during the storms, and rise up during the recovery. Judge Emmett's leadership has been outstanding, and we need that leadership now more than ever. Everyone, Harris County Judge Ed Emmett.
Well, good morning. Mayor, I don't know what we'll do if we're not together every day at some point in the future. We've shared meals, we've shared breakfast, we've had hands laid on us at prayer meetings. We've done just about everything. But Mayor Turner, you're a great partner, and I appreciate your wisdom and your maturity and your approach. Commissioner Mormon, thank you for that kind introduction. Councilmember Gallegos, I go to the Civic Club meetings and I run into you all the time, so we do share that. And Senator Garcia, I assume you're shading your eyes and you're not saluting me. Okay. And I have a confession to make. Those of you who know me very well know that I do have a weakness. And that weakness is there are I hope it's a handful, it's not too many, but there are a handful of women that pretty much when they tell me something, I just go, yes, ma'am. And one of those is Nori. So I had no choice but to be here this morning at this great event. As has been mentioned, the county is pleased to share with the CDBG funds. We understand that those are being well spent here, not only on what is here, but the physical location. You know, spending money in this part of the county is important, and we recognize that. You know, our community has just weathered a storm, and I'm sure we'll be talking about it for weeks and months and years to come, and I have to remind everybody that the hard part is now. Dealing with a storm, you just react. You make decisions and you keep moving. But how we help people recover from that storm is even more important. And I know the mayor and I have spent a lot of time talking about that and trying to figure out what do we do to get, when we say the community, we're really talking about the people. How do we get people back to normalcy? And that reminded me driving over here that while we talk about weathering a storm like Harvey, the reality is the people that are served by SARE have their own personal storms all the time. And for them, their personal storm is every bit as dangerous, debilitating, devastating, pick a word, as a hurricane. And we have to remember those people. We have to make sure people like that get the training they need so that they can get on with their lives. Because these are financial storms, or they're educational storms, or they're just purely personal. So that's one reason I wanted to be here today. So yeah, we get all this attention around hurricanes and big events. But let's not forget the personal events that are in everybody's lives on a regular basis. That's what SARE is set up to deal with. So what's the benefit? I'll just leave you with this. It's real simple. For every person benefited directly by SARE Jobs for Progress, generations to come are going to be better off. Because, I look at my own father. He was an oil field worker. And if he hadn't gotten that job in the East Texas oil field, I wouldn't have gotten a Teagle Foundation scholarship to go to Rice. And I wouldn't have ended up wherever I've ended up. But those are important things. And I know the mayor has his own personal story of his mother who worked diligently downtown and raised how many kids? 9 kids. So what you're doing here isn't, let's not just tie it to Harvey. Let's make sure everybody understands that this is something that goes on every day in somebody's life. And SARE is there to help. So thank you very much.
Good
Morning. Those are too hard acts to follow. I'm Howard Tellefson, and CEO of Tellefson Construction. Nori, Angel, and Sarah represent two words of the Tellefson family: opportunity and work. I'd like to explain. No doubt many of your families have an American story. The story of the Tellefson family is not unique in America. My grandfather, Tom Tellefson, left Norway at the age of 14 with his mother's consent to become a cabin boy on a sailing ship that went around the world several times. And he ended up in Panama working as a carpenter for the high wages of $5 a day, building the canal in the early 1900s. He started building in Houston in 1909 when he was 21 years old. Having only the benefit of a 7th grade education in Norway, he wanted to improve himself. So he took architectural drafting at the downtown YMCA night school. Several years later, my grandmother took English as a second language at the same place. In 1912, my grandfather went back to Norway and he married his grade school sweetheart. It's hard to believe at that age they were sweethearts. And they returned to Texas. Now, some of y'all are old enough to know that right out here where I-45 and the Gulf Freeway, there was an interurban railway. So they took the train from Galveston and they got off not far from here at the Eastwood Station. Today we're gathered at 1710 Telephone Road. Telephone Road is integral to the Tellefson family legacy in the East End. 2 blocks from my grandparents' home, in 1916, Tom Tellefson built Eastwood Elementary School at 100 Telephone Road address. In 1919, my grandfather encouraged the Episcopal Diocese of Texas to donate a triangular piece of land between Telephone Road, Eastwood, and Dallas Street for Church of the Redeemer, which became the cornerstone of Eastwood. He built the 3-story education building there in the early 1930s and later the new sanctuary. It doesn't end there. In 1946, Tom Tellefson established and was the board chair of East End State Bank on Leland Street. So Tellefson Construction Company had outgrown their East End facilities in 1948, and they built a block-long complex, 1710 Telephone Road at Tellefson Street, which served as the headquarters of our family construction business for 40 years. I mentioned that my grandfather took classes at the downtown YMCA in 1910. By 1950, he had served many years on the WISE board. He was the chairman of the building committee. So I say with a smile, he made sure that the East End YMCA was one of the first YMCAs when the Y made a decision to build for the first time outside of that downtown YMCA where he had taken classes. It's now called the Casaboom Family Y, but until he died at the age of 88, he could be seen there several times a week at the Casaboom Y. Within a couple of miles of my grandparents' home was their church, the office, their YMCA, and the bank. Tom Tellefson never left the East End. His confidence and pride in Eastwood and the larger East End community never wavered. I mentioned at the beginning of my remarks 2 words that we think of Nori and Sarah: opportunity and work. The story of Tom Tellefson is symbolic of opportunity. The kind of opportunity which made it possible for a lad shipping to sea at the age of 14 to find happiness, prosperity, and self-fulfillment in a new country. SARE is opportunity for its students to gain skills and careers by providing them education, workforce training, employment, and empowerment services. Those comments, those 4 bullets right up there. Now to work. Work was Tom Tellefson's hobby, as he found happiness not in the fruits of labor, but in labor itself. Starting as a carpenter, my grandfather understood the working man. And through our family's construction business, we know the importance of a skilled workforce. As an example and proponent of hard work and honest work, we can only imagine how my grandfather, up in heaven looking down on us, must be so proud that 1710 Telephone Road is being transformed into SARE's new Workforce Opportunity Center, a modern-day training ground for tomorrow's skilled labor, which is the engine not only to build, but also rebuild, which is so vital to us after the devastation wrought by Hurricane Harvey. There was, in Sunday's paper, some of y'all might have seen it, and at the bottom, our great city is Houston proud, Houston strong. The Tellefson family, and one of my sons is with me today, Tad, we sincerely thank Mayor Turner and Judge Emmett for leadership when it counts. And we thank you, as has been stated, for your investment in the East End, which now you understand there's a legacy of the Tellefson family here, and behind us in SARE's new Opportunity Workforce Center. And I would ask all of you, please consider joining the Tellefson family with a gift to SARE's Pathway for Opportunity Capital Campaign. Thank you. And now, the star, Nori Angel.
Buenos dias. Good morning. Wow. Beautiful, beautiful. What a beautiful message, Howard. Thank you. And thank you for reminding us why we're here today, what it took for so many generations and so many people coming together, opening doors for others. It's what it's about. It's about community. And as I look out at every one of you, I feel like you're part of my family, part of my community, and I thank you all for being here today, especially to you guys who've been on the road nonstop. You're kind of starting to look like each other, honestly. I'm serious. Can you guys hear me okay? So much to share, you know, and I'm going to be brief because it's hot and the sun is shining. And I want to just bring attention to the past 52 years that SARE has been part of this community. And we've been playing a really vital role, as you heard, helping underserved, disadvantaged young people and adults connect with opportunities and the workforce skills training they need that will open doors to new careers for them. And our focus is always about helping our local employers connect with the skilled workers they need to grow their business, to help Houston continue to grow as in our economy and in opportunity. And so this focus is what is behind the driving force behind our $17.5 million Pathways to Potential Capital campaign. Behind me, you see what will soon be our Workforce Opportunity Center, and it will feature Houston's first career cafe. Through this initiative, we're going to be able to double the total number of people we serve from 4,000 to 8,000 a year by 2020. We will, thank you. We're going to be connecting job seekers with the resources, the training, and the information they need so that they can make good, solid decisions about what career paths they want to pursue. And in-house, we are going to continue to grow our current training programs beyond construction, beyond banking, and beyond service industry to healthcare, IT, and so many other opportunities that the people in our community need and want. As I mentioned, we will be opening Houston's first career cafe. And this is an amazing, wonderful concept that we're calling La Chamba. And La Chamba is an African word, and it's a Spanish slang for job. So you may hear maybe someone in your family say, voy a la chamba. So we're bringing that concept into the community where we will connect employers, job seekers, and our local residents as we create a hub for this community to connect and intersect. To date, as you heard, we are so very proud that we have raised $11.5 million with the help and support of so many individuals and organizations here in the room with us, including the city, Harris County, LISC, Capital One, and so many other foundations. Today, we are kicking off phase 2 of our capital campaign with the goal to raise $6 million. So I hope you will join us in that effort. I hope you will consider opening doors for us, connecting us to others who might be interested in this effort. And the last piece I want to leave you with is our SARE story. And I do believe that our story is best told by those that we serve. So I'm going to invite Brittany to come up and share her SARE story with you.
Hi, good morning. She already introduced me, and my name is Brittany. I'm 22 years old, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about my story before I found SARE, after SARE, and during SARE. I was born into the foster care system. That was one of my challenges starting out young as a kid. Later on, throughout, elementary, middle school, I started to rebel to my parents, started going through the wrong path, making the wrong decisions, just not doing the right thing. Later on, when I got into high school, it only got worse for myself. I started skipping school, doing drugs, hanging around with the wrong crowd, and just making worse decisions. Later after that, I eventually dropped out of school, moved out of my parents' house, started working minimum wage jobs, living, paycheck to paycheck, trying to make ends meet. Wanted to be so much more than what I was, but I couldn't due to the fact that I have no high school diploma. I didn't further my career how I wanted to. So 4 years later on down the road, I told myself, I'm only getting older, like this is not gonna change unless I make something happen. A good friend of mine introduced me to SARE, told me about SARE, which, I thought, hey, it sounds good. So I came up to SARE, gathered some information about their GED program, and later on got accepted into the Youth Build program. It was a lifetime experience being able to, go back to school so far down the street. 6 years later, I went back to school. It took me time, but, it made me realize, I need to start now. I can't wait any more longer. Once I started SARE, I think SARE or Youth Build was one of the most nicest programs, coolest programs ever, because not only was it more easier than high school, but I felt like I got to learn better. I got to actually interact with the students, because when you're in high school, kids are just there because, their parents forced them to go to school. When you're at Youth Build, you're there because you want to be there, because you want to better yourself, because you want a better future for yourself. You're not there because you have to be there. That's one thing that I love the most, and the teachers, they're so kind. They make sure that that you understand their learning, that you understand everything step by step. And if you don't, they find a way, they go out their way to make sure that you understand what they're trying to teach. During I was attending Youth Build, they also helped me in other ways, as in getting my OSHA certification and my NCCR. And while I was going to school trying to get my GED, I was also working part-time at the Houston Food Bank. Standing here today, I can honestly say that I am proud of myself, that I accomplished something, and I can actually say that I finished something in life, and I can say that I earned my GED today. Thank you. After obtaining my GED, it was my dream to become a welder, and Sarah also helped me with that, with another program that they helped me through. Welding for me, when I started, I was kind of, iffy about it, because, it is a male-dominated trade, and, for a woman it's harder to get in. They don't take you serious because, they don't think that you can do it as better as them. But I've heard, that in the welding industry, girls can be better welders than men. And so that only pushed me forward, to push myself forward. It pushed me to go forward. It pushed me to finish school. It pushed me to not care about what anybody had to say. So I just went with it. And I can honestly say today, now, I finished welding school a week ago. So I could say I'm a certified welder. So I'm very proud of that. I just can't wait to be able to say, somebody asks you, what do you do for a living? And I get to say, well, I'm a welder, They get to look at me like, oh, wow, okay. So that's just something that I'm so proud of myself to have accomplished throughout this whole time, as a kid growing up, you go through hard things, but Sarah helps you, Sarah helps you realize that no matter what obstacles you go through in life, no matter what you get thrown at you, no matter who you are or where you come from, if you put your mind to something and you give it your all, you will become all you want to be. And that's why I'm so glad, to be here today. And I'm just, amazed to see that in so little time, because I started attending SARE back in March and it's September and I'm already came this far. And throughout my whole years, being a kid to the age I was 22, I didn't do nothing with my life. And it's so amazing when you have people that care for you and people that push you to move forward. You can actually be something. After, attending welding school, I do plan on, of course, finding work. They're going to help me with that as well. But I also want to further my career. I don't want it to stop here. My dream is to be an underwater welder. So I do, plan to go to school, go work for a couple years and go back to school to be an underwater welder. And soon, own my own house, have a family, and, just be able to give back. I just want to tell, like to put the word out there that if you plan on wanting to better yourself, SARE is the place to go. SARE it's where it happens, is where they make your dreams come true, and they won't tell you no. If they can't find it that way, they'll make it out their way to make it, another path to make it where you need to be. And that's why I would like to thank everybody that gives to SARE, everybody that y'all donate to SARE, y'all give your time, y'all effort to help people like me and other students as well be something in their life, because we just didn't have that growing up. And I would just like to thank you so much, and y'all have a good morning.
Thank you, Brittany, so much for sharing your story. And I want to acknowledge all of our students and graduates that are here with us. If you could just raise your hand so we can say hi to you. With us today is Senator Sylvia Garcia, and I'd like to invite her as well to come up and share just a few words about the impact this whole initiative will have on the East End.
Thank you so much. And you know, I'm not sure that I could really add too much more than Mr. Tillotson has already said, because what is going to happen here for the East End is tremendous. And to hear his story and have him share it, and if you really listen to what he said, his father came here for what? Looking for a job and an opportunity. And that's exactly what this represents and will represent to many people, not only in the greater East End, but in fact in all of Harris County. And when we think about it, Mayor and Judge and Commissioner, that's why most people come here. Immigrants from other states, immigrants from other countries, people from around the world come to Houston for jobs. And the role that we need to focus on is making sure that we're prepared to compete in that global economy. And it will really start here at SARE. And I thought I'd go ahead and share my SARE story, and this may surprise Nori, because Nori, I'm not even sure I've told you the story. When I came as an immigrant from South Texas, with everything I owned in my little blue Volkswagen, 45 years ago in 1972 in September, my daddy cried, my mother cried, but they put everything in the Volkswagen and I drove to Houston. And one of the first places I was referred to was to SARE. Bill Gutierrez was the ED back then. If some of you that have been around a while like I have, I know I look pretty good, but I've been around. And I went there for an interview. And they were surprised that I was there with a degree in hand, but they had told me that they placed people for jobs. So I went there. And I'll never forget, because ladies, you'll appreciate this, especially because those of you who know me well. He was talking to me and he looked at the resume. He says, oh, you got a degree in social work. Well, that's good. Well, I'm going to study social work too. And oh, yeah, so you've been student body vice president. Oh, you're involved in politics. Okay. And he goes, then he had some cheaters on. And you two are always fighting about your cheaters. He put his cheater down. He goes, but do you type? Remember, this was 1972. I was probably not as big an activist as I am now. So I just smiled. I knew it was an interview, and I said, well, no, not really. I mean, I didn't even really take bookkeeping or typing in college. That's never been my interest. He said, oh, okay, well, we'll help you anyway. We help people who have college degrees. So then he referred me to the state employment office, and I applied there. And I ended up getting my first job was with the state. I worked with the State Department of Public Welfare. Now it's Health and Human Services. Just a little footnote, I think my first job paid me like $530 a month. I finally got an increase and I'll make $600 a month as a state senator. It's still working for the state. But I tell my story because SARE was there for me. You know, even though he kidded me, and even though later he did tell me, because truth be known, I ended up dating the fella. He told me later that he asked me the question just to get my reaction. But it did help me. I did go to the Department of Public Welfare, and I did get my first job, and I started working in November 1st, 72. It only took me about 6 weeks to get a job in Houston. That's what we want to do. We want SARE to be there to guide the applicants, to refer them, to do the follow-up, and find them that job. Because you do deserve to get that job and to start your family and to reach your dreams. And that's what it's about. It's about opportunity. And every job, one at a time, will make a huge difference in people's lives. So I have my SARE story. I'll always be there to support you, Nori. I don't have to say yes, ma'am, like the guys do. I'm there with you already. All right? And Judge, I do salute you, and I salute the mayor, both. And in fact, I ask everybody to salute you because together you did an awesome job. We continue to be proud with you. We continue to work with you today and every day until we have full recovery and the full rebuilding of Houston and the Houston region. And we stand there with you, and I can tell you that everybody here today is in total agreement because it is about making our region stronger and better and we working together, I know we can achieve that. And I'm so glad that Sarah will be a part of it. Thank you all for being here and giving Sarah your support.
Good morning. Thank you, Senator Garcia. I'm Amanda Tim. I'm the Executive Director of the Houston office of LISC, the Local Initiative Support Corporation. Thanks for the opportunity to be here to celebrate, and congratulations to Sarah. Congratulations to Brittany. You are an example of what we're trying to make happen throughout our whole city, so we appreciate your hard work. LISC is the country's leading community development support organization, and we work with residents and partners like Sarah to forge resilient communities of opportunity across America. Great places to live, to visit, to do business, and to raise families. We invest more than $1 billion each year nationwide for housing, economic development, and community initiatives. We're proud to help bring this important workforce opportunity center to the East End through our community development financing and strategic use of the New Markets Tax Credit, a federal initiative run by the U.S. Department of Treasury. The New Markets Tax Credit drives investment capital to underserved neighborhoods to spur revitalization. Credits managed by LISC and provided to SARE have brought more than $2 million in equity to make this project a reality. This is an especially exciting investment for LISC because we've worked with SARE Jobs for Progress in Nori since 2011 in their role as a LISC Financial Opportunity Center site in the East End. The centers are a nationally proven model for building family financial strength, and the center offers a one-stop shop for career coaching, financial management know-how, and accessing public resources while on that path to opportunity and success. LISC and SARE are both part of United Way Thrive. As Nori said, it's about community. It's about folks like Brittany. So as our region is still hurting from the effects of Harvey and signs falling on us, I think we got it. Thanks, Mayor. And it's about teamwork and leadership at every moment. We know that this investment is critical to our recovery. We know the disaster was an economic one for many families, in addition to a natural one. So as we rebuild, we're going to need a lot of skilled people, especially skilled construction workers more than ever. And we know we can count on SARE to make sure more people can participate in that recovery and in our region's economic success. We are proud to partner with SARE, the City of Houston, Harris County, and all others. And we encourage all of you to invest in our region's future by ensuring SARE's Workforce Opportunity Center is a resounding success. It's going to take all of us to build this pathway to potential. I know many of you are excited to see what's happening while this is in progress, so SARE invites everyone to take a tour of the facility, and we encourage you to do that and be part of what happens next. Thank you so much.
Mayor, it's great to see the disaster recovery of all type you jump on. I'd like to do two things. One, it struck me because we've seen so much about Houston Strong over the last few weeks. I think Brittany really taught me what Houston Strong is all about. It's taking someone with aspiration and dreams and goals and marrying them with SARE, and then each and every one of you opening your hearts and your prayers and your pocketbooks so that these dreams get translated into reality. What an absolutely compelling story. So thank you all. We would now be pleased to open it up for questions and answers, and Nori will give you the answers. But if there's any questions from either the media or anyone here, we'd be happy to take questions and answers now. And if our elected officials need to excuse themselves, we understand the time constraints. Any questions? I guess that means we did an awesome job at this press conference. So thanks to Eliana and her team, and see you soon.